So fun. I'm only on page. Welcome, welcome. We have Isti. We've got folks from literally all over the world. I happen to know that it is in the middle of the night where Isti is from. So, and perhaps for others of you, can you do me a favor, everyone, and just write in the chat where you are coming in from? Spokane. We'll see it. You guys can watch our world fill in here. Beautiful. Welcome, everyone. So my name is Stacy Sims, and I'm the founder of The Well. And I'm here with Rose Schnorr, who many of you have gotten to know, who's the Associate Director of The Well. We have a wonderful collaboration with Mindful Poetry Moments and their beautiful podcast, Poetry Unbound. Eddie Gonzalez is here from On Being and perhaps some others. And we locally partner with Wordplay. We have Amy Tuttle here. We have Amy Hunter here from the Mercantile Library. Not sure if we have anyone from the Hive. And our format is pretty simple. What we do is we begin with a meditation. I'm going to kick us off in a second. And then we consider a single poem selected from Poetry Unbound, usually. And we have a guest talk about that poem. And today our guest is Jerry Neri, and he is living in Cincinnati, and we're very lucky to have him here. He is Danae and Indy. He is a veteran, an activist, a poet, and the executive director of the Greater Cincinnati Native American Coalition. And we've invited Jerry to talk to us about the wonderful poem called When I Was in Las Vegas and Saw a Warhol Painting by B. William Bearhart. So we'll do a meditation, we'll hear the poem, Jerry will talk about the poem. He'll give us a prompt, we'll write 10 minutes or so, come back into the room, our virtual room together, and whomever would like to read can read something they've written to us. And then we'll close with another reading of the poem and talk about what we're going to experience next month. We do have closed captioning. If anyone would like closed captioning, you just go to the bottom and you click on your CC Live transcript. Thanks to captioner Brooke Nunn for being here. So I'm going to kick us off now with our meditation. I was reading a little bit about the poet B. William Bearhart, and who was born in 1979 and died in 2020. So a very young but full life as a poet. And the poet Natalie Diaz said about his work this line: yes, darkness, but also and always light. So I'm going to share that phrase again in the context of our meditation. So let's go ahead and recenter ourselves for a bit of an inward journey and an opening journey to this moment on Wednesday, January 26th, 3:07 Eastern Time. So wherever you are, take a second to re-experience the ground beneath you. Your feet on the floor, your seat in the chair, your palms in your lap. And just begin to take in your own sense of grounding and honoring this moment in this place, in this time. Bringing your awareness to your feet, to your seat, to your palms. Keep your awareness first for a second on your feet. It's like pinning your focus to the ground, your connection to this earth. Move your awareness to your seat, your connection to the earth where you are sitting. And then to your hands. Broaden your awareness by considering your hands and your seat and your feet. And for the next several breaths, I suggest that on the exhale, the phrase, yes, darkness, and on the inhale, the phrase, but also and always light. Exhale, yes, darkness. Inhale, but also and always light. If easier, you can shorthand it to exhale, darkness, inhale, light. And begin to experience the almost circular nature of darkness and light, day and night, in the movement of time. Let's contain or seal the moment by just rubbing our palms together. Bringing hands to face, perhaps massaging. Bringing yourself back into this virtual room. Taking a quick second to scan and just see who you're sitting with. So click through, even if it's just a name and not an image, know that there's a human being there. Lily and Isty and Peter and Grace and Marie and Helen and Stephanie. Julia, Stacy, Lola, Kate, Wendy, Carrie, I can't even get all the names. So many people from so many parts of the world coming to breathe together, consider a single beautiful piece of writing and making our own work around it. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So I am going to go ahead and read this for you guys. When I was in Las Vegas and saw a Warhol painting of Geronimo, I thought we could be related. Andy and I were both blue walls and yellow cows in a gallery of pristine white. We're both screen prints, offset and layered, underexposed. We're both silver clouds filled with helium and polluted rain. We're both white and blonde and scared of hospitals. Only I am not really any of those things. And then I thought we could be related, Geronimo and I. We're both code names for assassinations. We're both first names you yell when you jump from a plane. We're both gamblers and dead and neon acrylic brushstrokes on a screen printed image. Only I'm more like a neon beer sign sputtering in a tavern window, burnt out, broke, a heart with arrhythmic beats. That I'm going to go ahead and let you think about that for a moment. Let's go ahead and take that off of there. That is a powerful poem in so many ways. One of the things that I wanted to mention really quickly about the poem is the how people there is a entitlement that people have that they feel with images and words and what is spoken, and how we describe these things in a visual way. And I am actually having a little bit of a lag here. So can you hear me okay? Okay. All right. So from here, Stacy, I was going to go ahead and ask, where are we going to go from this point?
So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about the poem and maybe deepen some of the ideas you've just started, just talking about the poem a little bit, and then we'll move into giving a writing prompt for the group to consider.
Okay, I actually have, so there's a schedule that's on the screen and it froze up, so I didn't know where we were going.
You're so good.
Okay, and so the photographer was a gentleman named Ben Wittick, who was it's from the record of the Office of the Chief Signal Officers in a series of photographs of American military activities. I looked at the Andy Warhol painting at the silk screen and I recognized it from another photograph. And I started thinking about it, and the photograph was taken in 1887, 1 year after Geronimo was captured. He was captured in 1886. He was 58 years old. So when I look at the picture and I look at the fierceness in his eyes, and I can understand he's the same age, almost the exact same age that I am. We're very close in age, who has been captured, who is being held in a prisoner of war camp, has been there maybe a year, and they're posing him for this photograph. How much disdain he must have for what they're doing to him. And this is important in the writing prompts and what I'm going to discuss with the writing prompts. These photographs, so when the discussion of the Andy Warhol painting and how that is taken from another photograph, and how that photograph took an indigenous person, a native person's anger, their trauma, their suffering, and they took this and they made an image of it to capture that image of what that individual was feeling at the time. And this can be important when you look at photographs that were taken during wartime, Vietnam, Gulf War, there's a lot of tragic photographs. But to pose somebody, to pose a prisoner, I look at the photograph and I think of um, Abu Ghraib, or those photographs that were taken during the Gulf War, where they posed the prisoners and took photographs of them. And I think that this is how humiliating it must have been to have this done. I also think that when we don't consider the humanity, and we don't consider other people's humanity, we can see how that has affected, how it affects them and the generations beyond them. Side note, I am Dene and Indi. Indi is Apache, so I'm Mescalero, and there are so many bands of Apache, but so that is Geronimo is also Apache. So when I think of Geronimo, and I think of the fact that how he was captured, and the photograph, and now I am here having a discussion about an ancestor. It's humbling, and it's very interesting. Okay, that's my little rant. I'm gonna have some coffee here, and can we go ahead and go into the writing prompts? Okay, so as writing prompts, what I was thinking about is I was thinking of a couple of things. One was, what do you feel it would be like to be a prisoner watching your homeland change around you? How it would feel to have, how it would feel to have someone steal your ghosts and commodify your trauma. And what I mean by that is steal the suffering, the anger, whatever it is that your ancestors were feeling, and silkscreen it and hang it in a museum for people to view in that way. Okay, those are what I was thinking of ideas for writing prompts. And regardless of your culture, we're all humans. We all have that. This is something that we all share, that humanity, and irregardless of where you're at right now, I think we all have feelings towards what this would make us feel like if it was us. All right.
All right, I'm going to, Jerry, how does this sound? I'm going to set our timer for a little over 10 minutes. And I think it might be nice to put the poem back up on the screen while we're writing. And then Ro, if you wouldn't mind, or I'll go ahead and write in the chat the prompts. And if you have any questions, I'll keep an eye on the chat. And maybe Jerry, do you want to keep an eye on the chat if somebody gets stuck with their prompt? All right, great. So I'll see you all back in about a little over 10 minutes. And I'll remember to set the timer. We'll take another couple of minutes to move to the end of our thought, paragraph, line. Jerry, is it okay with you if we take the poem down and go back to the gallery view so we can see everyone?
Yes, that'd be fine. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So what we'd love to do is to hear from anyone who would like to read what they were able to capture. And so Ro can unmute you and we can hear you. If you wouldn't mind doing one of two things, we'll keep an eye in both places. At the bottom, you have reactions. There's a little, should be able to see a reaction button. You can raise your hand or you can write in the chat that you would like to read. And then Jerry will call out the names that we start seeing.
Okay, looks like Gemma. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You're very quiet.
Is this better?
Yes.
Gemma, would you like to read?
Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Now we
it's a sound phone. Skin. Territory. Underground. Conquest. Killer.
Gemma, I want to make sure that you are complete. Is that your offering? I think so. Thank you. Thank you. Jerry, just
Oh.
so you look, you feel free to respond. Also, just know that there's folks who have their hands up in the upper corners too.
Okay, I was looking for the hands. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Let's see. I am looking for the I am looking for people who have their hands up.
So it looks
And,
like we,
oh, Carrie.
And
Carrie?
then- Okay, perfect.
Okay, let's go with Carrie next.
Thank you. Yes, trauma. Yes, stolen. Yes, homes, dignity, possessions, our lives, our children's lives, sacred art, sacred ceremonial objects, put in ghettos, stolen, destroyed. My culture has learned from thousands of years of persecution to stay, to survive, to thrive, to be funny. Still, I won't go into an Holocaust museum. One manifestation of our persecution, the ancestral traumas, becoming one with all who have suffered, holding the space for all to heal.
Thank you. That's tremendously beautiful. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. I can understand the how it feels to how it feels to allow yourself to feel something like that and to put it onto paper. It's very powerful. Thank you.
Would you like me to, I think you're unmuted there, Jerry. Would you like me to help you know whose hands are raised?
Yes,
Okay, I believe that the first hand I saw go up was Kelly.
Kelly. Okay. Kelly, did you have your hand up? All right, Kelly, let's go ahead and have you share with us. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Just going to pull it up here. The pain in my body goes deep within my bones. The spirit within me will never die. You look at my past and remember. I will never forget. The sky is dark, yet the moon shines bright. My story is told. I am not the person you see in the story told. The pain in my body goes deep within my bones. You stole my future, yet you cannot take away my spirit. I ask to forgive those that harmed me. Creator, please stand with me during these challenging times. I send love. I ask for love. To be seen, not judged. The sun will shine upon the flowers. We grow in our beauty. Trees connected at the roots. We are all connected. Breathing in the air around me. The wind reminds me of the power. I am not in control, Almighty One. I release the grip and let go. I honor my ancestors for hardships they had to overcome, they had to overcome, paving the way for me to have a better life. I hold the rock in my hand. I listen for the answers from the elders. They teach me how to honor my truth, my core beliefs. It is a lifelong journey to become free. Then we die. The pain in my body goes deep within my bones. My body lays to rest. Sleep, my child, you are free.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Oh, I see the hands now. I don't know why I didn't see them before. There's the hands in the little corner. Okay. That's what you were talking about. Okay. Wade. Kelly, thank you. That was beautiful. and I felt that on a very personal level as well. I appreciate your sharing that with us. Wade, you're up next.
It's what could I have done? Boxed and beaten, hung on a wall like a quilt or a special feather, forgotten until not. Now a cipher, well washed and skin soft like a fetish in the pocket of a Portuguese slave trader, forgotten until I'm angry. Can I recognize which time to inhabit even when I'm only ever at home in my own skin?
Wade, thank you. That was amazing. I like that. I liked how it provoked. It provokes further thought, and it provokes that in a very immediate way. I appreciate that. Thank you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate you raising your hand and being willing to share this. You're
Thank
next.
you. Mhm. So this poem brought me flashback to the time before the pandemic. I think it was my final visit to America, the cultural center of US Embassy in Jakarta, Indonesia. I remember it was 2019. I think that was the first time my soul encountered the eyes of Geronimo through his painting. Before, I only knew his name from a song sung by my favorite Australian music group called Shepherd. Then, right beside his photograph, there was a picture of Apache helicopter. I read word by word the caption beneath the helicopter. It said the name was borrowed from the tribe led by Geronimo. Since I studied international relations and defense studies in college between 2010 and 2014, all I knew, my professor always said that Apache was a helicopter that commonly used by army as a heavily armed attack. Tragically, when I went to grad school in UPeace in 2017 until 2018, my other professor in peace studies, she taught me that a heartbreaking dark assassination and genocide histories in many places in the world, including Northern America, Australia, New Zealand, and Indonesia. So I was a different person in 2019. And now, by listening to you, Jerry, I am humbly grateful to be a much more mindful person. I learned, unlearned, and relearned. And it takes 12 years so far to let the universe weave and teach me all of this priceless lesson. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. It's beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Emily. And we'll keep on going.
Hi. I'm 8 and learning tondus from Joanne Torty Robb, pliing in pink, and my hand comes to my maskless mouth in surprise. I'm 17 in social studies class, junior year, reading I, Rigoberto Menchú, and my hand comes to my maskless mouth in shock. I'm 20, grinding my ass in tight jeans with 3 beers and 3 shots in my belly, and my hand comes to my maskless mouth in horror. I'm 27, singing my vows to my groom in navy blue, and he leans in to kiss me, and my hand comes to my maskless mouth in dismay. I'm 36, we've been locked inside all week. Omicron finally humbled our privilege and felled us each gently to lie in darkness, let fever pass, wash sweat-soaked sheets, and to unravel dreams of all the days in my life that I didn't wear a mask. Now a mask feels painted on my face, a layer of protection worn all of the days, except the ones that came before. Who before me wore a different mask to protect themselves from my ancestors? Who is still wearing it to protect themselves from my white gaze? Who paints on a mask each morning when they walk out the door? Who makes adjustments to make sure the outer fits, the outer life fits the gaze of the outer world?
Thank you, Emily. That's I really like that. So this is me, this picture. And as you can tell, this is pre-COVID. This is my whole adult life, all the different times. And that's really poignant in the way that we always wear a mask. You know, we're always wearing those masks to, when you said to, so that we don't, we avoid that gaze of your people, you know. Helen, thank you, Emily. Helen, you're up next. Thank you.
Thank you. Barbed wire fence surrounding my throat. Aged rails circle my rib cage. My name remains engraved on a plaque. I cannot rescue her. Separated from breasts that do not breathe through gates. I do not rest. Guards who throw stones in life continue under stars. My eyes cannot gaze at their eyes. Eyes we share.
Thank you, Helen. That was amazing. Thank you. That's, again, very powerful. And I know how to be able to open yourself up, to let yourself be vulnerable and let those words go on the paper. That's very powerful. Thank you. Okay, Holly, I think you're next. Thank you.
Thank you. Smileless faces and deadpan eyes. Kodak captured the veils worn openly, stealing the reds of thoughtfully crocheted roses, the blush in a cheek, the chocolate river or bluebird flying through an iris. Statues of women haunt the gray-toned flimsy of film. Generations hiding the bared foot, the heeled shoe, the muddy hem, stripping textures from our days. Unseen, the rough-worn or underutilized hands, animal skins and woolen garments, tight-pinned hats and lacy necklines, the false guards against weather. Womanhood runs longer than bolts of fabric, stands stronger against men, beneath parents, before children, between each other. While some squeezed breath into corseted busts, others hid in trousers and marriage. Horses and vessels carried other breasts free, without freedom. Wished unto today, fiery in every bosom, wistful in every womb, is a fabric yet woven, tied to sequence and spandex now, in we can't see you under things, the armor of our fight, the future of our freedom. When a bra, a name, a pantsuit, a hairstyle, or a surgery won't make us or break us. Thank you.
Very powerful. I was reading everyone's, if you get the chance, Holly, I hope you you go into the comments, because there was a lot of people really appreciated that poem. Do you see any other hands raised?
Would anyone else
Stacy?
share before we move toward closing?
I actually did write something. Mary, I saw somebody raise their hand. Here's Mary. Would you like to share, Mary?
Yes, I can share, but you can
Okay.
share too, Jerry. I do not want to share, lose your writings.
Okay. I'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and listen to yours and then I'll share mine.
Okay, thank you. Warped. I woke up from a dream into another dream. Is it a dream? Grandma said, do not get lost in dreams, girl. My fourth grade teacher said, don't dream too much. My high school teacher said, you can be whatever you dream of. Like a mirror turned upside down, I still feel shackles from the haze images in my head. There is no outside or inside now. It took the record in my head to stop spinning. The day progress had me accepting the look in my hands, tied together, the burping horror, despair widening their pupils. If God is changed, is this you?
Thank you. Thank you, Mary. It's beautiful.
Jerry, how about we'll hear from Stephen and Sarah, and then we'll hear from you. And
Okay.
then Stephen and Sarah.
Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I am Portuguese American. People either don't contemplate Portugal at all, or else when they do, they imagine blue tiles, warm smiles, vineyards, port. No one even knows I'm Portuguese because of a Portuguese dictator named Antonio de Oliveira Salazar. My first ever boss was Persian. I was young enough not to know anything about Persians except what he showed me: pictures of green rolling hills, lamb stews rich with herbs, children growing up to be artists, the same tired old misogyny I see anywhere. Only later did I realize most Persians are linked in Americans' minds to Iran, to hostages, to uranium enrichment, to fear, and that for most Americans, that's all there is. Geronimo was a native inhabitant of this continent. His descendants are still here, actually, joyous, depressed, loving, angry, dancing, sedentary, here containing multitudes right in front of us. And yet here we are, remembering, contemplating, romanticizing only the trauma. Thank you.
Very good. And that's a tremendously important point to remember. We are still, we are indigenous people, South America, Central America, as well as North America. We are still a vital part of what's happening in the contemporary world and still continue to contribute. Okay. My turn, Kelly? Let's see.
Yes.
My turn, Stacy. Okay. I'm staring right at Kelly in the center of my screen for some reason. So,
Well, Kelly's very important.
okay, Kelly. Okay. So I wrote this down and I have an incredible skill that I am able to write stuff down, but when I go to read it, I can't see it because I don't have my glasses. So I'm going to try and read what I wrote. There is a term meaning being homesick for a place that doesn't exist. The feeling of wandering in search of a place that only exists in a drawer in a museum or on a gallery wall. Yet the sand feels the same. The soil, still the color of my skin, darkens as I dig my heels in a little deeper. As I remember, colonization is not conquest. As the words, "we are still here," stumbles from my mouth. That's it.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
And if we don't have anyone else, would someone else like to read the poem one more time? We want to have someone volunteer for that. Let's see.
Maybe
All right.
Lily, would you like to read the poem to end us?
Okay.
In a second. So Lily, would you be willing to read?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay, great. So what I wanted to do is, first of all, thank all of you for being here once again, especially Jerry for leading a really gorgeous view of this poem and just sharing yourself with us. So you're all going to get an email from Ro, and you're invited to submit anything that you have written this hour to us at any time today, tomorrow, over the next week, and we'll put this with a recording of our time together onto our website, so we have a record of it. Next month, on February, I wrote it down, 23rd, I think, the last February of the month, we're meeting, we're doing another gathering, and we will have Emily join us. Emily's here. Emily read to us. And Raina, another one of our friends from these gatherings, will come together to talk about a poem called What to Expect. We're very excited about that. And I think that's it. Thank you to our partners, On Being, Pedrego Tuma, Wordplay, Mercantile Library, The Hive, and most of all of you who come and make these sessions so glorious. So we'll put the poem up and Lily will read us out.
Thank you. Okay, let's see if I can read it as well. I have to squint a little bit. Let me just pull it up here. Okay. When I was in Las Vegas and saw a Warhol painting of Geronimo, I thought we could be related, Andy and I. We're both blue walls and yellow cows in a gallery of pristine white. We're both screen prints, offset and layered, underexposed. We're both silver clouds filled with helium and polluted rain. We're both white and blonde and scared of hospitals. Only I'm not really any of those things. And then I thought we could be related, Geronimo and I. We're both code names for assassinations. We're both first names you yell when you jump from a plane. We're both gamblers and dead and neon acrylic brushstrokes on a screen printed image. Only I'm more like a neon beer sign sputtering in a tavern window. Burned out, broke, a heart with arrhythmic beats.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Lily. Thank you for everyone who read, who wrote, who came and shared your heart. We will see you in a month. Be well, everyone.